everyone, it's Cindy Bishop with Cindy Bishop Worldwide Training. You are definitely in the right place today. Our training is designed to help agents know and grow. And today we're going to talk about 3 top skills that you need for effective time optimization. I love fun facts because fun facts help me remember what I need to be working on. My favorite one on this page, you can read the others, is that 20% of the average workday is spent on crucial and important things, while 80% of the average workday is spent on things that have little value. So basically what that's saying is 80% of your day is wasted. So what we want to do is we want to learn these 3 skills just to switch that around a little bit. And I think that these 3 skills today will help you. They're not everything, but they'll help you get going in building a foundation. So the first of the 3 is database management, the second is weekly goals, and the last is accountability. So again, you need to take time to build these skills so that you have a solid foundation. You need to control what's happening in your business. Because if you don't have control, that means something else is mastering your time, and that's never a good thing. So step 1, database management. The most critical thing you can ever have is a database. If you don't have a database, you don't have a business. So the first thing we want to have in having a database is we want to have a customer relationship management system. Many companies offer them. We recommend Realty Juggler. We think that is a great program. It's cheap. It's easy to use. It integrates easily into email marketing systems. It's just a fantastic. You can even email out from Realty Juggler. One of the reasons we like it, because then when you send things out there, your percentage opening rate is always higher versus an email marketing system. So it's just a fantastic choice that we make as a company to help people really start off well with Realty Juggler. So that's the CRM. You've got to have one. In your CRM, which is basically your master database. Now, you could easily use an Excel sheet, a CSV or whatever, a workstate, whatever you want to use in Excel, but it isn't enough. You really need to have something like a CRM, but you can start that way if you need to. But you need to include whatever you're going to use. You need to use your name, and not your name, but your contact's name, and the email at a minimum. You must have that in order to communicate with them. But then what you're going to do is you're going to make 50 calls a week. No less. You can make more, but you're going to make 50 calls a week. And my definition of calls is personal emails, phone calls, texts, stop-bys, personal notes. It's handwritten. So that's what I want you to be doing. And if you do that, you are going to be building your database, hopefully in a CRM, and you're going to have a nice, solid foundation beginning. Because if you don't do this, what's going to happen is you're going to have a big list of name and email addresses, and you're unfortunately going to be calling it a cold call list because nobody's going to know you, and they're going to respond to you just like they would if you were making cold calls. All right, this is step number 2. You've got to have some item of value that you are using to control your schedule, control your progress, control what you're doing. So as an example on this goal sheet, it'll be done weekly. And you can we have 2 forms like this. They look exactly the same. The only difference is at the top, we have 5 goals on this example, and you can also use the one with 6 goals. So the first goal that I would establish would be database management. So I would have that on my number 1, and down underneath business to-dos, I would be putting 50 calls weekly. Now, you already know my definition of calls, the texts, the emails. It has to be a personal email, not a bulk email. Stop-bys, whatever it is that is in that tier 1 communication person to person, they feel special contact method. And so that's the first thing that you have to do. Now, we're going to do this weekly because you need to be focused on your goals weekly. Now, the second one might be an item of value, sending out a newsletter monthly. It's all about touches. It's all about touches, but not too many. So that's what you want to do, is have a device like this, a form that you can keep yourself on track with. Step number 3, accountability. Without this, you're not going to get the other 2 things done. So you first of all want to set your work week hours. Do you get up at 12 and go into work at 2 and work until 5? Well, newsflash, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to treat this like a job. You're working at IBM. They're going to have you in at 7 o'clock in the morning. You have a sales meeting every morning because they know salespeople are a little loosey-goosey. So they are going to have you in for a sales meeting, and then you can go out on the road. You need to construct a schedule that is going to work for you, that you're going to win at. So if you do go in at 10, well, maybe you're going to work until 8. Maybe you're going to work until 7. But it's the quality of your work, not the quantity of your work. So set those hours so that you can be accountable to your tasks that you need to do. In scheduling your day, you need to look at the bottom here, avoid interruptions and say no. If somebody wants to pick your brain, well, you need to schedule it. You need to determine what that value is. You need to say no sometimes, because if you haven't made your 50 weekly calls and you haven't built at least 5, 6 to 10 out of those weekly calls, connections with people. Maybe you found out something about them, a new emotional trigger. Maybe you have discovered that you have a common thing between you and someone else. Maybe you went to Virginia Tech and maybe they went to Virginia Tech. All of that stuff goes into your CRM. You always want to remember and have a record of what connections you can make with them on personal levels. You need to know your database, and that's part of those emotional triggers. You need to discover Virginia Tech, they have kids, they love dogs, but you need to know that stuff to know your database. Get involved. Do you have kids? Are you in the PTA? Well, get into the PTA if you're not. When people are involved with similar interests, they will trust you more. And that's what relationship management's all about. You've got to manage your relationships so that you can manage your database and manage your transactions. A little few more fun facts over here, and I want you to read the one that's down in black toward the end of the list. The hardest work is typically done between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. So that means in the morning, and after that, for the typical human being, productivity tends to drop. So keep that in the back of your mind so that you can schedule your time accordingly. A few more interesting facts, and you can read these at your own leisure, but the thing that I highlight here on this page that I want you to get buried in your subconscious, so you're in your conscious mind, so you'll remember it all the time, is 10 to 12 minutes, invest it. That's it. So if you invest time on a Sunday night to plan out your week, to plan out your goal sheet, a little bit of time invested in planning your day is going to save at least 2 hours of wasted time and effort throughout every single day. That's a big deal. You ever want to read a good book, get the one by Brian Tracy called Eat the Frog. That's where I picked that up. All right, so I hope you learned something today. We'll be back with many more trainings like this. And also, if you want much more in-depth training, then including our forms, you want to sign up for the membership portal, which is available off the Cindy Bishop training site. Have a super, super day.